Hello, everyone. This is lab and homework number 2. The last problem was number 22 that I'm going to talk to you about. This problem is on page 120 of your 6th edition book with it. So let me talk to you about this. And this is a good time to segue into lab number 3 as well. If you notice that I've asked you to do everything in lab number 1 and 2 are separate projects, separate directories with it. So in this lab number 2, you should have a separate directory for each one of these programming problems that you have. There's 7 of them. And then when you get to program number 22, there's a separate folder that you're going to define each one of these things, right? Lab number 3 is a little different. You're going to see how different this is because I'm going to ask you to create everything in one project. I'm going to show you how to do this thing. But let me address lab number 22. Number 22 on page 126. Write a program that prompts the user to input the number of quarters, dimes, and nickels. The program then should output the total value of the coins in pennies. So you're converting everything basically into pennies with it as well. So let's talk how the logic for this thing. Again, I refer back to the logic for this constantly with this thing. And I've already set up this problem in here. That here is our problem right here. I called this thing number 22, chapter 2, number 22 with this thing. You're going to have 3 of your skeleton in here. So just as we go along with this, and this is page 120, number 22. And then you still do your pound, include your skeleton in here. Okay. Using namespace, std, int, main, your function, return 0. This is your basic skeleton right now. Okay, so let me pause right here. I'm going to focus this next screenshot into this. Okay, so hold on. All right, I am going to talk to you about the next problem with this thing, and this problem is converting all the quarters and dimes and nickels into pennies with this thing. In this problem, you need to declare, this is where you declare all variables below here. Okay, so you need to declare your quarters, your int, how many quarters, how many dimes, and how many nickels you have. Right, so you can do something like int quarters, dimes, nickels. Okay, all that goes here. Ultimately, when you add all these numbers that you have, you will actually need to add up are your number of pennies. So you definitely have your int. I'm going to do that separately because you can actually see what's going on with this thing. Below this is where you need to prompt the user for numbers of quarters. Okay, so this is where you prompt the number. You need to prompt the user number of dimes with this thing. So prompt it separately, and you read into this thing. So I'm going to paste this thing. This is quarters. Okay, number of quarters, number of dimes, and then numbers of what? Nickels in here, right? So these are all prompting the user to store it into these identifiers up here. Afterward, the next thing you need to do is actually write the formula, do some sort of calculation. Remember this is calculation of the number of quarters with. So how do you calculate all of this? All this equals to what, basically, with it, right? So think about this thing. I really want you to think about this thing. Once you figure out the number of nickels with this thing, right? Don't you kind of figure out the number, how do I figure out number of quarters? I take the number of quarters, I multiply it with 25, right? So if I have like 4 quarters, I multiply it with 25, what do I get? 4 times 25 is 100, correct? If I take the number of dimes, I multiply it by 10, that will tell me the number of pennies I have. So the quantity of how much the coin is worth, that's the number of pennies that are with, right? So all of that will equal to what? Equals the number of nickels. Agree? And that's what you would actually output this thing to. So change in pennies with it. So for example, you assign everything that's equal to pennies, and you're going to output that to to a penny with it. So take for example that you're going to have this thing. So the next step is you actually come in at this point and do display to the screen. So let me repeat what I just said here. In here, you take the calculation that you have basically with it, right? Let's say number of quarters that you store up here, and you multiply it with what? How many pennies are in a quarter? 25, right? And then you add that with what? Your dimes, your variables on the top, and you multiply with the number of pennies in that dime is what? 10. And then you add that with what? The number of your nickels that you're going to actually prompt the user. Multiply that with what? 5. There's 5 pennies to a nickel, right? All of that equals what? Your pennies in here. Okay? This is the key formula that you'll have to do, and this is what you have to display this cout. The change in pennies equal this particular identifier right here. So this identifier right here would go somewhere inside your cout with it. Okay? That's what I want to record you about. This is the end of the last problem with it. So good luck.